Hi, and welcome to Philosophy with Phil, with me, Phil Cohen. The aim of these videos is to address key philosophical conundrums, paradoxes that have been tackled by Western philosophers, but to look at them through a Jewish perspective and from the perspective of Jewish philosophers and Jewish thinkers. And particularly over the next few weeks, I want to look at four key paradoxes, if you like, that relate to the four Parshahs that we're going to be reading as part of the additional Parshahs that we're going to be reading as part of the laning each week. To go through them, Shekolim. Shekolim relates to a tax that was levied on the children of Israel, whereby each person had to give half a shekel to the upkeep and maintenance of the Mishkan, the tabernacle, as was in the wilderness, and then later on when they came to the land of Israel, to the temple, to the Beis Hamikdash. And the question that raises is, why was each person taxed exactly the same? What makes us different? What do we call consciousness in Judaism? Or are we all just the same? The second Parshah, Parshas Zochar, deals with Amalek's attack, the tribe of Amalek that attacked the children of Israel. And we'll be asking, what is evil? Because Amalek is held up as the paradigm of evil. So, well, what is evil, and what does Jewish philosophy have to say about that? The third Parsha, Parshas Parah, deals with the enigmatic laws, I should say, of the red heifer, which is generally held up to be beyond human comprehension. So for that, we'll be looking at what are the limits of human knowledge and human reasoning, and how significant is human logic in knowledge gaining in Judaism. Fourthly, we'll look at Parshas Chodesh, which is deals with the laws of establishing a lunar calendar. And we'll look at fate, destiny, and divine intervention and divine providence. How much does God interfere with the world versus what we're expected to do? And the paradox of that: can God be running the world if we have our own destiny? And if we don't have our own destiny, do we have free will at all? To look at those four, we'll be doing that through with the help of four key philosophers or philosophical movements in Judaism. For Parshas Shekolim, when we talk about individuality, we'll be quoting from Rav Dessler and his essays Michtav Me'Eliyahu. For Parshas Zochar, with regards evil, we'll be bringing in Hasidus, particularly Tanya, Lubavitch philosophy. Para, when we talk about human logic, be Rambam and Maimonides, Hilchos Deis. And Chodesh, finally, when we talk about fate and destiny, the Moshe Chaim Luzzatto and Derech Hashem. All of these books are available in various translations, certainly in English. And I would advocate, if there is a particular issue that does take your interest, please do go and look them up online, or go and get them. You can get them, I'm sure, on Amazon as well. I should say, by way of introduction, though, that philosophy in Jewish literature doesn't play a central part, if we're honest. Most Jewish literature is either legalistic, halachic responsa to specific situations, or commentaries and explanations on the Torah and Talmud. They don't really have a lot of essays or manuscripts written about philosophical issues, such as the ones we're going to discuss. Jews are more doers than thinkers, and we tend to find that the bigger the question, the less likely it is to have an effect on our daily lives. So much so that there was a philosopher, a 17th century Dutch philosopher by the name of Spinoza, who was born Jewish but got so fed up with the intricacies of Jewish law, he gave it up altogether, and he couldn't accept that God was that worried about what food we ate and what we were and weren't allowed to how we were and weren't allowed to behave. He threw it all in and converted over to Christianity, and later became known as Benedictus Spinoza. There are writers and scholars that I haven't mentioned. I'll give a quick mention to them now. Rabbi Yehuda Halevi, who wrote the Kuzari, which is a fantastic introduction to Jewish philosophy. Rabbi Yitzchak Hutner, his Parshahs Yitzchak, and Rabbi Yosef Ber Soloveitchik also have written many great essays on Jewish philosophy and the background to mitzvahs and the background to Torah. Well worth reading if you have the time. These videos, the way we're going to work is like this. We've got this video, and then there's going to be another introductory video that's going to talk about belief in God and what we mean by God in Judaism. Then we're going to have one video per week per parsha to address the issues that I've mentioned. They're not definitive by any means, but they're meant as hopefully as trigger points for you to give you a very brief synopsis of how Jewish thought is, and for you to go away and sort of, if you feel they're of interest, find out a bit more about them. I'd like to end, if I may, by talking about by giving an explanation. Reb Nachman of Breslov, I mentioned him earlier. He's the great grandson of the Baal Shem Tov. Gives on a very famous incident in the Torah, the expulsion of Adam and Chava from the Garden of Eden. There's a phrase in the Torah that seems very strange. It says that after Adam and Eve were expelled from the Garden of Eden, that God, and we're in Bereshit, Genesis chapter 4, verse 24, Chav Daled, that God put cheruvim at the entrance of the Garden of Eden. These were angels, a specific type of angels. Veslachat hacherev hamispaches lishmor es derech eitz hachayim. And he put a rotating sword to protect the path of the Eitz HaChaim, the tree of life. Now, Reb Nachman asks two questions on this. Firstly, what is this rotating sword? What is it there for? What is it meant to do? And what's the significance of it? And secondly, why is it protecting the Eitz HaChaim, the tree of life? After all, the tree that Adam and Eve sinned from was not that tree. It was the tree, the Eitz Hadas, the tree of knowledge, not the tree of life. What was it protect? Why was it protecting the Eitz HaChaim? His answer is like this: the Eitz HaChaim is a metaphor that's often used in Mishlei, for example, in Proverbs, as a metaphor for Torah knowledge, and so this rotating sword is there to protect them from this in some way, but not protect them. It's there to rotate. And he says like this: often when you're learning Gemara, certainly for the first time, you will find it to be incredibly counterintuitive. This is because it is the word of God. It is Torah. And so the human mind does need to be turned and have your perspective altered so that you're able to understand it better. And he says that rotating is what this sword is all about. The difference between us and the Eitz HaChaim and Torah knowledge is that we need to have our logic and our intuition shifted. And once we're able to do that and see the mirror image, then we'll be able to understand it more. A bit like the writing on the books behind me. Wish you a Shabbat Shalom. Thanks for watching. And as I say, shortly there'll be another video about belief in God before the fall Parshahs kick off. Bye now.